2.0. I'm Steve, and this is another edition of Workbench Wednesday, episode 42. And this will be part 2 on our Fairview Avenue animated crossing signals. There we go. And we'll be working on these this morning. And here is the live picture of these. All right, so what we're going to look at, all right, are these, in this part, are the signals themselves. All right, now we're going to zoom these in. And you notice the arm swings. It's got a threaded spindle there that the signal will mount down through the baseboard, and then a nut will thread on to hold them in place. Now, with my particular application, I am going to use another base. You can see I have this marked off. I'm going to cut 2 of them. The way these are designed is you have one hole through the base for the spindle to come through, and then another small tiny hole that one of these wires that come with it, and I don't know if you can see, barely see that, but it wraps around this end right here and then feeds through the base and is connected on the other end to the servo here. Okay? And the servo will have an arm on it. So what I plan on doing is having the hole for the spindle that I can lock it on to this base with the nut, and then another tiny hole that the wire can feed through. Then on the layout itself, on the baseboard, one bigger hole that will be covered by this base that both the spindle and the wire itself can feed down through to the underside. So that is what we're planning on doing. So I got to first measure the spindle so I can get the right size hole, and then we can do the secondary tiny hole for the wires. After that is done, we can cut this and then mount the crossing arms to it. So hang tight and we'll get after it. All right, so I now have these both cut and drilled. One larger, one smaller hole. So let's disconnect. We will disconnect the signals. And I will feed the wires down through this base. One at a time. And then we need the nuts. Feed those through one at a time. fiddly. All right. Now I want this back side here to line up with the secondary hole. So that it will feed the wire through and pull down. Just like that. And again, the reason I'm doing it on a separate homemade base is to make it easier in the long run. Because you can imagine trying to thread all this through the base of the layout, whereas I can do it on here, get it snugged up, and then have a one larger hole that's smaller than the base, and I can use a little tacky glue to secure this base to the sub bed of the layout. Alright, so I got it snugged up. Alright, yep. Now the wire here will go around Alrighty, so what have we got done so far? Well, I have gone ahead and mounted the two crossing gates, as you can see here and there. They are mounted. I have also replaced that thin, flimsy wire on this crossing gate with a piece of piano wire. And basically what I have done is taken a length, curled the end of it like that, and then that fits over where the weight of the cross arm, the counterbalance weight, is on the piece, so on the arm. So that is on the other one. The extra splitters and sensors have arrived. So the splitters all need to be mounted onto the board. And the board, I took it inside just to see if everything was going to work properly in a cool environment, and it did. So my assumption that the heat was affecting it is true. So I will add a on-off switch onto the fascia here where I can turn it off, turn the power to it off so that it doesn't go off inadvertently. Now, as we look here at the servo, you can see the cross arm here, and that is where the other end of this piano wire will hook onto. Now you can see a center screw right in the middle there. I'm going to take that screw off. I'm going to position the servo and mount underneath, and then cut this piano wire to the right length before remounting it to the servo itself. Okay. That way I can adjust the length and the throw, how far it throws, easier. Alright. And so we still have a lot to do. I've got to get the splitters mounted on the board. I've got to get the IR sensors mounted into the track. And I've got to get the servos mounted and hooked up to the crossing gates. So hang tight and we will get after it. Okay, so you can see here the sensor that I have installed. You may see another sensor right here. This is the sensor for the motorman. Okay, this is the sensor for the grade crossing. Now I have put two more sensors in, one here and one here on this side of the grade crossing, and then others on the other side. So with that, let's go ahead and I'll show you how I do that. All right. Get up here. I'm going to drill 2 holes for each sensor. There's one. There's 2. Now, to connect. All right. I've connected them. Get my side cuts out. There we go. Here. There we go. Up a little bit. All right, I'm going to get a couple sensors. Give it a little poke. What I do. There. And the same for the other side. Here we go. All right. So that's going to wrap up part 2 of our Fairview Avenue animated grade crossing. So we've got it mounted on the board, all the electronics mounted on the board. We've got half of the IR sensors roughly installed. We've got the grade crossing signals and arms themselves mounted. So we still have the servos and the rest of the IR sensors to mount. So with that, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad 2.0 Workbench Wednesday. And I believe this is episode number 42. So with that, y'all have a great day. Bye now.